Alright, so we're gonna start assembling the frame. The frame that we're gonna go with is this frame here. The leaf spring suspension. So the locking mechanisms of of the different beams is I guess it's using these right here. They're called locks, I guess. 3-lock. This one's the 3-lock, and this is their 2-lock. They look really similar. There's another cut type. I think it's called rotate. Yeah, 2 rotate, 3 rotate, and they come in this package. So far I know this is 3-lock, so I labeled it with a 3-lock label, and these are 2 locks. These other 3 I still have to figure out what they are, but I'll figure it out as I go along the way. So I guess there's a certain way of assembling them. They come, I guess, unassembled like this. 1 black piece and 1 gray piece. And according to this picture, you hold this up here, and then with this, there's a little cut on top, and you try to make sure that the 2 cuts are lined up well. So then you just push it in there, and it's kind of hard to keep it aligned well, but once you're close, it's pretty simple. You keep pushing it, and it should just click, and then there you got a lock. Yep, I assembled all 4 of them. So alright, so let's start on this. Hi, so I sped up the video because it takes a pretty long time if we're going to watch it at regular speeds. So I'll just talk over what's going on in the process. So now I'm just combining these beams with the different locks that came with the kit. 2 locks, 3 locks. 2 locks means it can go through 2 beams. 3 locks means 3 beams. So that's one part right there. So the parts that I'm making now is going to be 3 different parts, and I'm going to combine them together to make one big part, and that one big part is going to be one of the sides, one of the right or left sides of the rover. So here I combine those 2 parts right there with some more locks. I'm assembling the locks now and locking them with the tool that came with it. And right now I'm going to make another part, and this part that I'm going to make, I'm later going to combine it again with the big part I just combined it right now. So you'll see that I'll make this one part and combine them together. So I went ahead and made another one of the same part that we made earlier. So now there's 2. So the next step is adding some of these transition blocks, and I already went ahead and assembled some of these locks already. So so this calls for a total of 6 of these transitions. 1 would go here like that, and the other 2 on this side go like this. Yeah, wait, there. So here I'm using the transition blocks as mount blocks that I'll use to mount to the 2 side pieces of the frame. I accidentally placed the motor upside down, so I didn't realize that until later on, and when I did, I fixed it and got it in the right position. So I'll just putting them together now. Hi guys, today we'll be working more on the Mind's Eye 4x4 31 robot. This is what I got so far. This is the motor in between. Then I built this side of the frame, and then this other side is identical to the first side, so you just follow the instructions twice. And then I set them together and use locks to lock them back in place. So that's where I'm at. Last time when I worked on this, you can see that I don't know if you can see it, that I replaced the stock bearing with some yellow seal bearings from here at Boca Bearings. I also made the differential. You can see that I replaced the bearings with yellow seal Boca Bearings. They're ceramic hybrids. They have steel races and the balls are ceramics. So yep, so today we're gonna move forward and try to finish this, maybe today. Alright, so before I start recording, I set out the different parts for each step. I don't know, there's probably like 10 steps that I've set out here already, so I don't have to waste time to find the pieces and trying to assemble the locks together. I knocked that out already, so let's get this started. So right here, I still haven't realized I have the motor upside down. I don't realize it until towards the end of the build. So right here, we're creating a beam reinforcement for the car. We're going to actually create two, and each one is going to be placed on one side of the car and the other on the other side. It's going to help make the frame more sturdier. So right there I placed it, I'm locking it in, and then now I move on to the other side and place it there too. Using the lock side, hold it in place. That's the tool. And then I had a couple smaller beams. They're called 3 beams. The number before the name beam determines the number of holes there is in that beam. So there's 3 beam, 5 beam, 7 beam. They even have 15 beams. Just locking them in place. So right now I'm about to add the battery cover right there, and that's where the battery is going to be held at. Later on I'm going to add the other end of the battery cover to hold the battery in place. So right now I'm going to create 2 different parts. They're the same parts, but these parts are going to have an end where there's going to be rotation. I'll be using the rotational lock instead of the standard lock. The rotational lock allows rotation of the beams, and later on this part will be attached to the leaf springs. So that's what creates the suspension of the car. So right there where I'm putting in the lock, that's the rotational part right there. So I'm creating the second one right here right now, and these 2 are going to be for the front of the car, and later on I'll create 2 more for the back. So that's it for those 2 parts right there, pretty much. I set up all the pieces already for the next 10 steps, so I'm picking up from where I left off earlier. So alright, we're on step 21. So here I'm moving forward with the process of building this. So those 2 beams are the 2 beams with the rotational beams at the end, and I'm just combining them together with another beam, and I'm adding a couple more transition blocks to the part. So I just locked them in again, locking the locks, and now I add, that's the other end of the battery cover. You can't really see it right now, but yeah, that's the end of the battery cover. So the battery will fit in between those 2 battery covers. So right now I'm adding it to the front of the frame, and then just use locks again like always. Right here I'm out of range of the camera, didn't realize it when I was recording. But yeah, I had couple locks here, several locks, to make sure that everything's held in place pretty good. And that's how it looks like so far. So now I'll move on forward, and what I'm going to make now are going to be the same thing as those 2 parts that I made with the rotational ends, but these 2 parts I'm going to make is going to be for the back. Like I said before, there's going to be 2 for the front and 2 in the back. They look pretty much the same, I believe. I don't think there's much of a difference between the front and the back, just that the front has the battery cover installed on it. And then yeah, just gonna add more transition blocks, and then after that's created, I'm gonna combine those 2 parts like the other one, with the beam in between. And right here, I guess I forgot a couple to assemble a couple locks. So there you go. There goes where I combine both of those parts together as one part, and using a couple more locks and a couple more transition blocks. And once that's fully assembled, I'm just going to add it to the back of the frame. So I'm going to add it with a lot of other locks, so this part takes a little while to complete, because I have to figure out which hole the locks go in, because there's a lot of holes, and I have to count the number of holes away from each end to make sure that I'm locking it in the right place and not in the wrong place. And then once I'm done with this, I'm going to work on the leaf springs, assembling them. So the leaf springs are pretty easy. I'm not working on it now, but I will soon. And then when I do, it's going to be the leaf springs. They're going to be attached to a couple transition blocks, and from those transition blocks, they'll be attached to the main frame of the body. And then this will be the last part of this video. For the next video, I'll demonstrate the building of the differential and the drive line and the shaft. And so here I've already made a differential, but I didn't record it. The first time I recorded this, I was actually taking pictures instead of recording. So these four springs are, to me, they're all four identical. So in the end, it wasn't really much difference between four of them, even though two of them had a different way of doing it. The other two had a different